We'll teach you how to use your calculator in order to solve systems of equations using augmented matrices. So let's take a look at the first system. It is a 2 by 2 system. X minus 2y equals 5, x plus 4y equals 8. We can write this as what is called an augmented matrix. So augmented matrices are written as such. For a system of equations, you will take the coefficients of each of the terms. And so in this case, the coefficients of x are 1. The coefficient of y is -2. And then we have the answers over on the right. So x minus 2y equals 5. We would have coefficients of 1 and -2. And then the quote-unquote answer on the right side of the equal sign, we're going to put over here with 5. The x coefficient in the other one is also 1. We have a y coefficient of 4. And x plus 4y equals 8, so we'll put 8 over on the far right. This is actually a 2 by 3 matrix. There are 2 rows and 3 columns. Now, what's actually happening is we have a 2 by 2 matrix. We have a 2 by 2 matrix that we're augmenting with a 2 by 1 matrix in order to make it a 2 by 3 matrix. But basically what we have to do is we have to take this matrix and type it in the calculator as a matrix, and then we can use a function that the calculator has, and that will give us an answer. So we will go to the matrix button, which if you hit second and then x to the -1, you go to matrices. There are names, math, and then edit. If we want to edit something, we go to edit, clearly. We will use a 2 by 3 matrix, the one that we just did. So x is 1, y is -2. It is important that you use the negative sign and not the minus sign. So there's a difference. The negative sign is down right by the enter, whereas the minus sign is in the typical spot. If you use the minus sign, you won't get the correct answer, and it will give you an error. So then all of the quote-unquote answers that we have on the right of the augmented matrix, we're going to put in the far side. So our second equation was 1x plus 4y equals 8. So after we type this matrix in, we go back to the main screen by hitting second mode. That quits us and puts us back to the main screen. We will hit second matrix. And then you go to math in the matrix menu. So if you go to math in the matrix menu, what ends up happening is you have a lot of options that we don't really teach in this class, but you want to go and find RREF. So RREF, what that does is it takes an augmented matrix and it solves it for each of the variables. On many of the TI-84s, it is option B. Okay, so you would go hit RREF, then you hit second x to the -1 to get back to matrix, and we want to do the augmented matrix rearrangement, basically, of A. So if we hit enter, it will give us the answer. Now, what I want to do is point out where the answer is. The answer is on the far right. So what ends up happening is they rearranged everything and did a little calculating in what would be called linear algebra. So in college, you might take a class called linear algebra, where almost the whole thing is matrices. And what happens is, if you look at the screen, you have 1x plus 0y equals 6. So what that's basically referring to is x equals 6. Then 0x plus 1y equals 0.5. So basically y equals 1/2. So if we go back to our original problem, what ends up happening is after this gets rearranged, it looks like this, which is essentially saying that x is 6 and y is 1/2. So we would write our answer as an ordered pair. 6, comma 1/2. As an added bonus, I'm going to solve this system of equations. That's a 3 by 3, but really it looks kind of weird because we don't have every variable in every equation. It's missing some parts, which actually makes it easier, but sometimes it looks good to see it worked out to kind of help you out. So what I would do is take a look at x plus 4z equals y plus 4z equals negative 18. And if you take a look at that, we want to get another equation that has just y's and z's in it. And the reason I picked y's and z's is if you look at these two equations, it'll be very easy to eliminate x from these two equations. So if I take x plus 2y equals 3 and x minus 3z equals 14, it should be pretty easy to eliminate by multiplying one of these equations by -1. So really quickly, I'll eliminate this. I get negative 2y minus 3z equals 11, which I can then write down here. If I multiply the top equation by 2, that ends up being 2y plus 8z equals negative 36. And when I solve this, I get 5z equals negative 25, which means z equals negative 5. Now I can take that z and I can substitute it back in a lot of different spots. So I can take that, put it in here. I get y minus 20 equals negative 18. So y equals 2. I can also take either the y equals 2 or the z equals negative 5 and substitute it back in one of the original equations. So I'll take the y equals 2 and substitute that back in up here. So x plus 4 equals 3, which means x equals negative 1. So my final answer would be negative 1 to negative 5. That is a pretty simple way of solving these systems. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate everything from the screen except for the answer and make sure that we get the same answer when we use augmented matrices. So in order to do this by augmented matrices, this will be a 3 by 4 matrix where I have a 3 by 3 matrix combined with a 3 by 1 matrix. So this is going to end up being a 3 by 4 matrix in the calculator. I write the coefficients. So all the x's go on the left, all the y's in the middle, all the z's on the right. So 1, 2, 0. It is important to put zeros for things that are missing. So 1, 2, 0, and then I have 3 as my quote-unquote answer. 0, 1, 4, negative 18, and 1, 0, negative 3, 14. So if I take that and I type it in the calculator, I should end up getting negative 1 to negative 5 when I'm done. So second matrix, I'm going to edit, and I'm going to want a 3 by 4 matrix. So I have 1, 2, 0, 3. 0, 1, 4, negative 18, and 1, 0, my memory's not that good anymore, negative 3, 14. So if I have all that, I have my 3 by 3 combined with my 3 by 1. I'm going to quit, go to matrix, math, option B. I don't have to scroll all the way down. I can actually hit alpha B, and then that gives me the RREF. And then second matrix, I can choose matrix A, and once again, it will give me the answer. So x equals negative 1, because 1 is in the x spot. 0x plus y plus 0z, so that means it gives me y equals 2, and z equals negative 5. And what I want you to do is try the one on the far right and see if you get the correct answer. I will pause and then let you do it, and then see if you get the correct answer. After you write the matrix and type it in the calculator, you should end up getting the answer 0, 2, 3. So that should be what you get for X, Y, and Z when you do the work with the matrix and type it in the calculator. Hopefully you enjoyed this video.